Who we talking about?
What's up, True Feelings family? How you guys doing? All I can tell you is the devil has been busy. Okay, I need to sage my house. I need to put blessed oil on my doors. I just need to do some stuff because I just feel like you can invite spirits into your house and something is just going on, and I just need to get rid of it. I need to get in my work. I need to do something, y'all, because it just seems like it's just ongoing. Now, I've always been honest with you guys on my past, my life, being an addict, and we all know that when you live a life of a drug addict and you have kids, you do some damage to those children. Now, when my kids were taken away from me, it's not like they went from foster care, foster home, bounce around. Ultimately they end up living with the donor, and the donor is the father of my 4 kids. I choose not to give him a name because he's still living in the damn 80s and think he's a thug, and he's in his 60s. So I just choose not to give him a name. Now, my biggest regret in life, y'all, is that I wasn't a parent to my boys. That's my biggest regret in life. I will always regret that. But I will not let you keep me around that corner. I will not let you keep hanging shit over my head, because I don't live there no more. I lived there in over 20 years. I don't live there no more. So I'm not going to keep taking verbal abuse and all the shit that I have to take. So for those of you who are in my position, in my position, don't let these kids keep you feeling guilty, especially when they 38 and 40. Don't let them keep you feeling guilty over your past. And I just come to the realization, although I'm hurt over things that was said and shit, I'm not going to let you keep me held to my past. Now, let me just tell you some shit that's been happening with my kids, because I love having my kids around me like I do. It's something that I thought would never happen, and it happens, and then it unhappens, and that's the shit that I've been dealing with. So we're gonna start with my son K1. That's the oldest one. We're gonna go back to this year, Father's Day, and which was also my husband's birthday. Now, a couple of weeks before that, me and my son K1, we've been getting along. He's been coming over and stuff. Like, we were really trying to, get to know each other, work things out, be mother and son. Like, we're trying all that. Before he came back. Anyway, let me not do that. So, K1 has 2 kids. He has a girl and a boy. When his son was about 1 year old, I think his girlfriend at the time, she was pregnant with his daughter. He just left. He left the kids. He left her. He left the family. Okay, we didn't hear from him for a long time. Now let's just speed up to where we're at talking. So there was a moment where my son had came over, and I always want to keep this dialogue open. Like, I want you to talk about the past. I think it's important that we do discuss it. If you're feeling some kind of way about the past, something I did, something I said, anything current, let's deal with it. Let's talk about it. I'm not gonna be hurt. I want them to get that shit out, and we had that opportunity where he was able to get that shit out. Now, what I was trying to work with him on was his children. I know how I felt not having my kids around, and in his mind, he's telling me he didn't give a shit about his kids. He didn't want to see his kids and blah, blah, blah. And plus, he's on these little happy pills, which I was very concerned about. So I said to him, how is it that your happy pills ain't keeping you happy? I said, apparently you're taking those pills to drown out the guilt that you're feeling for not being a father and being around your kids. I said, I know that shit has got to hurt. Like, that's got to hurt. And I said, until you deal with that, you're going to keep having issues and thinking these happy pills are going to make you happy. And they're not making you happy. And at that point, when we were having this conversation, he just laid in my arms and he just started crying. It's like, come on, man. You're trying to block shit. You can't have kids and not give a fuck about them unless you're a complete asshole. Like, seriously, you can't. So I said, How would you feel if we try to get this relationship, see if we can, because it's been 18 years. It's going to be hard to convince an 18-year-old boy of anything. So anyway, we went that route. We tried that route. I had my daughter look him up and shit, so we was able to get in contact with him. And the son said, this man left me when I was 1. I don't want shit to do with him. Now, what I did not do, I told my daughter, I said, don't tell him. I'm not going to tell him, because that would just hurt him. And that's not, I prefer for him to just think he just never contacted us than for me to tell him that. And it was like a week, 2 weeks before Father's Day. And we had this big event going on, because I always rent a hotel at the Mission Bay. Well, I always rent a beach resort. And, I rented a room at, dang it, at the Mission Bay Resort. If you ever come to San Diego, lovely place to go. Get the one by the water with the fire pit. You would love that place. So anyway, a week before Father's Day, he calls me and he's all excited. I'm working. I'm like, hey, let me pull over, So he calls me. He tells me that he went to the courthouse because he was dealing with some child support issues with the baby mama. And he talked to the baby mama and they had like this good conversation. And he was just so happy that maybe, okay, yeah, we're finally like getting somewhere. And I was just happy too. Like, okay. I know it's going to take a minute with the kids, what I explained. I said the kids may be slow moving, but, give them that time, give them that time. So now we're here and it's Father's Day. And this is this year, Father's Day. Having a good old time. Got a big old party going on and everything because it's my husband's birthday too on Father's Day. And my son shows up to the door. And the minute I open the door, like, if all this shit happened in a minute, in 4 minutes, okay? He showed up to the door. He was already pissed. Tried to hug him, and he walks through. And then he shows up with a fucking dog, okay? This resort that I was at, you can't have a fucking dog there. Now, I didn't say shit, because I didn't get to say shit, because I was baffled that when I tried to hug him, he just kind of just walked through. And so I'm standing there, and my son, his brother, tried to like dap him, and he was just like, he just came through with this fucking attitude. And so we're just kind of just sitting there, just looking at each other like, what the fuck, right? So I'm hearing something outside, and I hear him cursing and just having a fucking moment. So I go outside, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And he's like, fuck this, he's just fucking going off. And at this point, my other son, Juan, he's very protective. Now people coming out I told it coming out wanting to say shit, and I was like, I had to go into my little case manager mode. Don't say nothing. Had everybody be quiet. Let him have his moment. I said, you gotta go. Like, you gotta go. Because he was really just acting out. You gotta go. He's like, let me go to the bathroom first. I said, nope. Because if you remember Good Times and shit, when that football player went into, he came in there because he was all messed up because he didn't get his little football career, and he went in there and took a whole bunch of pills and shit. I said, nope, you gotta go. I wasn't loud. There was no screaming. You gotta go. So when you do that with people, they get pissed off. And now he's really just pissed off. He's untying this dog. He's just being aggressive. And he's gone. Now the issue is, I deal with this shit with these kids all the time, where they do shit, say shit, and then I'm the mom. I'm gonna see if it's gonna work again. Now, the next day is when it gets tricky. I told my son, I said, don't bother him. Leave him alone. We'll talk to him later. Just leave him alone. But my son was like, I didn't like how any of that went out. So anyway, they got into their little argument. Next thing you know, he's calling me a bitch and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So I'm like, whatever. I'm just, whatever, right? So then, that same day, I don't know who I was talking to. My son. My son had called me from prison. He did the little FaceTime, and he told me that K2, my second son that I'm about to tell you about, got into it with his dad, threatening to shoot him, and all this shit is happening. I'm like, ooh, what the hell is going on, right? Now, K2, he be on some weird shit. When my mom had a stroke in February I called him and never heard anything back from him. No follow-up, house grandma, like nothing. Not only that, you guys, the time I was up there in LA with my mom, he had left his little family and moved down here. Okay? Never called, never did nothing. So now it's Father's Day, we back here, and I'm finding out this. And I told my husband, I said, watch, this is the shit they do all the time. Now that he ain't messing with the daddy, now he gonna come slithering to my house with his tail between his ass. Okay? And haven't even contacted me and been living in San Diego for about 4 or 5 months and ain't said shit. But now he gonna come around. Mark my word, that's what happened. A week later, I felt like, am I being tag teamed by these kids? So then a week later, he pops up, sitting in the living room. My mom, my nephew, they was like, is that Kevin? And I just was like, fuck. So I went to the door, and he had his shades on, because you know when people know they on some weird shit and they know they done been doing some fuck shit, they don't want to look at you in the eye. So he comes to the door. I said, huh? I said, so you finally showed up? He's like, I know, Mom. I know, Mom. I said, you've been here all this damn time. I said, so if I let you in, I said, you're going to have to take the shit I'm about to hand you. I'm going to say, because I'm going to talk shit. Got him in, and I said what I needed to say. And I let him know I don't like the games he play between me and the donor. He will come over, talk shit about his father, say how much he hates his father. Like, I don't need you to bring up his name. But and I also told him, I said, I feel like you do the same thing when you go over to your father's. You be playing this little weird shit. And I said, I don't like it. I think that's grimy. He's like, no, Mom, when he talk shit about you, I defend you. I said, no, you don't. I said, but that's okay. We gonna try to do something different. So for a while, every weekend, coming over, him and my other son, Graham's daughter, been seeing him every weekend. Come by, you know, we've had our little talks and everything, so everything's been going cool. Friday, family was over. We're having a good ass time Friday night, y'all. We're just having a good time. We were laughing, we talking. K2, my son, he done passed his test because he's taking a truck driver's test. So we was just really having a good time. After he left, hugs, loves. Okay, see you Saturday, because you know it's my birthday week, y'all, and my granddaughter's 8th and 9th, and so of course I'm renting a damn resort again. So didn't think, you know, everything was fine. Friday, this past Friday, everything was fucking fine, right? Sunday morning comes, and I look and I see this text. And because, well, let me go back. While we were there, my son Kawan and my other son K2, Kevin, I'm going to say his name, and it was like, you know, should we call, you know, Kenny, and that's my oldest son, should we call him? I said, he ain't going to respond to you. You know, when he get mad and shit, you know, he's not going to respond. I've already tried. He's just not going to respond. I said, but go for it, but I don't want no shit, right? So back to Sunday. So this Sunday, I'm looking at my phone and I see this text, and it's saying the worst shit. It's saying the worst shit, y'all. It's just saying the worst shit I just don't deserve. And at this point, I'm not tripping, because I thought it was a screenshot of them trying to contact the older brother, because I would expect him to speak and say shit like that. But that wasn't. It was K2. So I'm trying to call my other son. I'm trying to figure out what happened. I don't want to tell you everything was said, but I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So I just sat there after reading that shit, because I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm looking at the number like, this can't be Kevin. Like, he was just here. Like, what could have happened in 48 hours that, like, what could have happened? So now I'm trying to call my son. I'm calling him, but it's just going straight to voicemail. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but, you know, can we talk, whatever? So now I'm getting mad. I'm like, it's kind of a bitch move. If you got something going on, we should be able to talk about it. So then I'm just reading all this bullshit, and I realized that it came from my son Kevin. So then I just immediately started crying, and I just sat in the living room and I just cried, and I cried and I cried, because I just was like, what is it that what do you, I don't know what else to do, y'all. I'm doing the best that I can do, but what they want you to do is go back and remother them, and I can't do that. They, like, I'm not sure what they want. So he hit me with this long text of all this little fucked up shit that he's saying. So I threw a bomb. But when I throw a bomb at you, I'm gonna hit you with truth. Hit him with his truth and all this shit that he got going on that he's trying to throw off on me because he don't want to deal with his shit. So I'll put that shit out there. Bam, bam, bam. He texts back, how could you say that? Oh, motherfucker, you're the only one who can talk shit? See, kids think that when you're a parent, you could just take all this shit like we build of metal, and that we don't hurt, and that we can't, you're the kid, so we're supposed to just take it because we're the parent. No, not me. I threw an atomic bomb. I said, okay. So now we're here. Like I said, I've just been going through it, and I feel like I said, you're not gonna hold me captive to the past. And at this point, I'm not gonna let any man disrespect me. Sure enough, not a damn kid. You're not gonna disrespect me and say a bunch of untrue shit because you and your feelings about something I don't even know about, and you're not even willing to pick up the phone and talk. You're gonna bitch out and do this Twitter shit. I don't like that shit. Have a conversation with me. But see, my mother said, you're gonna forgive him and take him back. You always do. I said, yeah, but on everything I love, not this time. The only way that I'm going to do it, you guys, if my two sons come back into my life, if they knocked on this door, I would turn them away and tell them, we're going to therapy first. I feel like we keep trying to do these things where we have conversations about the past and stuff, but it's not enough. We need therapy in order to... They need it more than I do. Okay? They need it more than I do. I don't think they ever talked about the past and the things that happened to them. They were raised by their grandfather, and I think that the grandfather was an asshole. If the grandfather was a loving man and the kids were in college and they were thriving, I don't think it would be this bad. But because that's not how their life was with people that's supposed to love you, you take, so they're struggling. And parents, they give you identity, and I feel like they don't have identity. And right now, the two oldest ones, they pretty much made the same mistake and following the footsteps of their father as far as women and abuse and just fucked up shit. But that's not my fault. You're a grown ass, to me, you're a grown ass person. Take responsibility for your adult life. I'll take all that shit in the past as a kid, but I'm not gonna stay there. You're a grown ass person. There's things that you know right from wrong, and you shouldn't even want your kids to go through the shit that you went through. Period. You shouldn't want to put the mother of your children, through what you watched your mom go through. What I do know is my two oldest kids, they remember and saw a lot of the abuse, and pretty much when your kids grow up seeing shit like that, either they're gonna do the total opposite, or they're gonna do the same. They're gonna do some of the same. That's it, y'all. I just felt like venting, just let you know. I'm just, it's my birthday week and shit, and it killed my vibe some. I ain't gonna lie. I'm one of those who try to stuff my feelings and shit and act like shit ain't happening, but it's fucked up because I don't have a magic wand to go back and make a better decision. Like, I don't. I don't. I did what I did. But I've been better for over 20 years now, and you're not going to keep me in those fucking chains. And if your kids are doing it to you, don't let them keep you there. Don't let them keep you there. Make them deal with their shit. Now, we can deal with old past shit together, but don't put your new shit on me. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That's their decisions. So now that their shit's fucked up, now, misery loves company. Well, I love my kids. I love them to death. But I'm not going to let you disrespect me. Period. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got, y'all. Don't be an asshole. Bye.